This is Twit.
A startup called OnePlus launched a low-cost phone today called the OnePlus One. Why don't they just do the math, call it the 2? The smartphone has some high-end specs, but starts at only $299 unlocked. There's a catch. You can buy the phone only by invitation. Sascha Segan is lead mobile analyst at PCMag.com, and he joins us to show us and tell us about this phone. Welcome, Sascha.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
And there it is in all its glory.
Yep, the OnePlus One is a really handsome-looking Android-powered smartphone, as you see here. We have a 5.5-inch 1080p LCD screen, the same Snapdragon 801 processor that's in the Samsung Galaxy S5, and it runs, you'll see this logo on the back here, Cyanogen, which is a popular third-party mod of Android 4.4.2. For $299, I mean, you've also got a 13-megapixel camera on the back, 5-megapixel camera on the front. Comes with either 16 or 64 gigs of storage. So you have these Galaxy S5-like specs or these HTC One-like specs at half the price. And if OnePlus can actually deliver enough units and quality units and debugged and QA'd units, this could be a really big deal.
So I have so many questions about this. First of all, why is it invitation only?
Well, OnePlus is a very small startup. They're coming out of a company called Oppo, which is a Chinese electronics manufacturer known for high-end home electronics and a couple of smartphones. And they're clearly slowly ramping up production. So they want to keep desire at a fever pitch. That's why they've been leaking information slowly about this phone. But they also want to make sure that they only get as many orders as they can handle. So this by invitation thing is like a controlled beta. As they start building these OnePlus One phones, I guess they want to make sure that they all work before they go out to the consumers.
Now, one of the goofy facts about this phone is it has some unusual backs that you can get. For example, you can get one with a bamboo back, a different type of wood. They have Kevlar, denim, and there's even the white one, we're told, is made out of cashew nuts that have been somehow ground up and turned into a kind of plastic of some kind. Now, how does Cyanogen, first of all, are there any Cyanogen mod phones out there? And secondly, how does this affect app compatibility?
I mean, fortunately, it doesn't appear to affect app compatibility. This phone, as you can see, it has the full Google suite of apps. It has the Play Store. Cyanogen has been very good at doing upgrades as Google does upgrades. It'll probably get upgrades faster than a lot of other standard manufacturer phones get them. But in terms of those backs and, you know, the cashews and all of that, you know what? I have the white back. It just feels like matte plastic. OnePlus has done an incredibly good job of PR here and of getting buzz going. And a lot of that buzz just seems to me like excitement and buzz rather than stuff that's actually material. Oh, yeah, other Cyanogen phones. The only other one I can think of was actually OnePlus's old parent company, Oppo, the Oppo Find 7. So this would be the second Cyanogen phone, as far as I know.
Now, the mid-May launch, it's supposed to launch in mid-May, the actual phone, is going to take place in Austria, Belgium, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Hong Kong, Italy, Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, Sweden, Taiwan, United Kingdom, and the United States. Gosh, I don't see Canada in there. Sorry, Canada.
I think it's in there. No, I think it's in there.
Okay, good. And so, you know, this is a counterintuitive set of facts. Like, on the one hand, the invitation-only rollout indicates small numbers, and the price indicates massive, economies of scale. So it's curious how they're going to do this. Now, Rene Ritchie, this is really the kind of thing that Apple is increasingly up against with the iPhone. Here's a pretty slick phone that's incredibly cheap. I mean, this is less than half the price of your average iPhone. How does this kind of thing, do you think, affect iPhone sales going forward?
I think it's interesting because it affects it not at all in terms of the subsidized market where people only see $99, $199, $299 price tags up front. In markets that aren't subsidized, it will appeal to people who are, or for whom price is the most important feature. The other thing that's interesting to me, though, is how they're making this price point. We've seen this before in the PC industry where netbook makers would get very low prices, but they did it essentially by destroying their own margins, and that wasn't a way to grow healthy companies. So I think we're going to see this race to the bottom in phones the way we saw it in other technology, but I want to see how sustainable it is. And Apple previously has had a lot of luck just totally ignoring that market and sticking to premium, and whether that strategy is what they do for phones as well.
Now, Sascha Segan, you've been reviewing and trying this phone. Some of the features aren't functional yet, but among the features that are functional, what is your analysis? For example, what's the quality of the photographs? It has a 13 megapixel camera on the back and a 5 megapixel camera front-facing. What's your evaluation of that and other features?
Well, OnePlus made it very, very clear this is not a review unit. This is an early prototype. And every time I emailed them about something that was going wrong, they emailed back saying, not a review unit, early prototype. That said...
How very convenient.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of little things here about... Are they going to be able to make enough of them? Are they going to be consistent quality, et cetera, et cetera? That said, the Sony camera on the back seems very nice, could use some software tuning. The hardware looks very good. 5 megapixel camera on the front. It's unusual to see a 5 megapixel front camera nowadays. We're just starting to see them. Also seems very good. App performance with that Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 seems excellent. Some big question marks I have out there. One of the biggest question marks I have is about call quality, which is still seriously being tuned. I really can't draw any conclusions there. And of course, for a lot of people, that matters a lot.
Absolutely. As you said, the company that this came from, which is Oppo, that was run by Pete Lau. Is that correct?
I'm not very good at memorizing CEO names, I'm afraid.
Okay, it's not that important for buyers anyway. So this has, of course, a custom UI on CyanogenMod, and yeah, it's a fascinating phone, and I think we'll be looking to see if they can really pull it off. It seems unlikely based on what we know about other things. A lot of people are saying that this is a Google Nexus killer because of its low cost, and it kind of has the similar sort of feel and shape to it, as far as I can see from what you're holding in your hand.
Well, and it appeals to the same Android geek crowd. I mean, the appeal of Cyanogen is really tapping into these geeks who have been loading Cyanogen onto their phones by themselves for years. And that's the same buying group as would buy a Nexus. But once again, Google does tend to contract with these well-known manufacturers who can build large quantities of phones at affordable prices with reliable quality. The Nexus 5 by LG has been of excellent quality all around. And I feel like this is the 5th or 6th time I've said it, but the thing that OnePlus hasn't been able to prove just because they're a startup is if they make 50,000 of these, can they make 50,000, and will all 50,000 work properly?
Well, that's a good point. Well, Sascha Segan, I want to thank you for coming on Tech News today and telling us about this phone and also showing it to us.